Coach Jack Daniels, my hair, at the Boxers Trainers Channel. And good morning. Actually, it's a good morning. It's also cold, and the weather is bearing down. And that's all right because we are here to discuss some boxing, even with the weather being bad. Okay, so look, check this out. Saturday, Saturday night, we had a awesome, awesome card, right? And it was put on by the PBC, Al Heyman and the PBC gang, if you will, right? It was a good, you know what I mean, comeback, from Al Heyman's kind of like distancing himself from the sport in the sense that the PBC had to go through a lot of changes in order to get back in the boxing scheme of things to become relevant because actually there's been a lot of mixed emotions when it came to the business aspect of the PBC and the ability to create a network relevant enough to sponsor the PBC. And they did a pretty good job in regards to having Netflix sponsor them, to say the least. But I will say that in comparison to Turkey Al Sheik and his promotional uh, ability to bring on some awesome events, right? The PBC got a lot of work to do, in my opinion. No disrespect to Al Heyman and the PBC, but Turkey Al Sheik has made I'm talking about a realistic approach to boxing as it pertains to bringing back like the old element, right? Everybody fight everybody fights everybody, and the fighters are being compensated for the work that they perform, and that's a good thing, right? We need to recreate boxing because boxing has actually took a deep dive, you know what I'm saying, in the bits of potential ruin, in my opinion, right? But that being said, look, Saturday night again, we had a main event and it was pretty good, right? It was really tantalizing in the sense that we had some fights on and some antics associated with this particular event that, contrary to the likes or dislike, will be historically viewed in nature, especially when it came to Devontae Tank Davis. Shout out to Tone Dog 707 in the house. Yeah. So that being said, I think that as much has been made about Javante Tank Davis and Vermont Roach, right? In that WBA lightweight championships bout of the world, right? There was a lot of events that transpired in that fight, right? That shadowed all the other events that have not gotten any traction as far as social media or the main main scheme of things when it comes to broadcasting, right? The old guard, if you will, haven't had anything to say about any other fights other than Javante Tank Davis. Now there is a logical reason for that because Javante Tank Davis did a lot of stuff in that fight, right? That warrants like that warrants observation, if you will, observation, if you will, in the sense that, um, in my opinion, Javante Tank Davis actually lost that fight, and I'm quite sure there are a lot of you, even the Javante Tank Davis fanboys, that have mustered up enough intellect and enough uh, sense, right, to realize that he lost that fight, right? And but the issue in question would have to go to the referee, in the sense that the referee didn't fulfill his obligation to the rules of taking a knee. Javante Tank Davis took a knee. I think it was what, the ninth round. He took a knee. He indicated that he had some grease in his eyes and his eyes was burning. So he took a knee, right, ran to the corner, wiped his eyes out, and came back and explained the event to the referee. Instead of the referee giving him a 10 count for taking a knee. The referee excused that. Now, that behavior is the behavior that I mentioned that in warrants, uh, I don't want to say investigation, but it kind of, I can't get around that word because it's an actual fact that that issue warrants investigation, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if an event, if the referee would have did his job, we wouldn't be having this conversation about the win-loss ratio between Javante Tate Davis, or in this case, the tie in regards to Javante Tate Davis and Lamont Rose. If the referee would have done his job, Lamont Roach would have been the victor in this case, right? Because the scorecards were that close. Where if he would have got that the knockdown, right, the knee, which was in retrospect once a 10 count, uh, we wouldn't be having this conversation because the victor would have been Lamont Roach, and in my opinion, still with the knee, the issue that involved Javante Tate Davis taking a knee, right? Contrary to that fact, in my opinion, Lamont Rose still outboxed Javante Tate Davis. Now, there's a lot of you cats out there, you know what I'm saying, are under the impression that I just don't like Tank Davis. I do like Tank Davis, right? But like or dislike has nothing to do with when you are in a position where you have to tell it like it is. That's what I do, right? I don't make up stuff and fake stuff for the sole purposes of numbers, right? I'm not into that. You know what I mean? I happen to be one of the fewer people that do these podcasts, right? That tell it like it is, right? That's what men do that believe in what they're doing, right? I believe in the sport of boxing. I've been associated with boxing for over 60 years. You know what I mean? So I think that because of that love for the sport, right? I have to separate myself from the norm, right? The norm would be to say something to create well, I don't want to say fake narrative, but it has to be considered as fake narrative if it's not the truth, right? I don't want to be perceived as one of those cats that doing it, and I'm not going to be perceived as one of the cats. So if you guys have dislikes about the things that I say as it pertains to Javante Tate Davis or anybody else, I don't know what to tell you, right? Because I have to deliver the real. You know what I mean? So, where I was going with this is that particular night they had multiple fights, and the one that really was the elephant in the room, so to speak, right, was Jose Valenzuela and Gary Antuanne Russell, right? That was the best fight of the evening. It even overshadowed Javante Tate Davis and Lamont Roach, right? Because that particular fight produced a new junior welterweight champion of the world, and Gary Antuanne Russell, right? Put hands all over Jose Raul Venezuela. I mean, it was a fight to be remembered. You know what I mean? And in the sense that everybody really came to see Javante Tate Davis, right? And so, as is the case, that particular fight was overshadowed by Javante Tate Davis and Lamont Roach. But here I am today, bringing this fight to the attention of the world, right? I think that fight was totally overshadowed. I think that all of the glamour associated with Javante Tate Davis and his superstar status, right, totally minimized the impact of the fight between Jose Valenzuela and Gary Antuanne Russell, right? I mean, both of those cats are kind of like, I don't want to say new to the sport, right? But their records are like not championship uh, caliber in the sense that Gary Antuanne Russell is 28 years of age. He's 5'10" with a 69-inch arm reach. He's a southpaw. Here's my point. He has 18 wins, 17 by knockouts, one loss, right? So, in a sense that there is a new sheriff in town, if you will, in the sense that champions are being put in place at an early state in their career. Now, nothing wrong with that, but that's not the norm. The norm is, you know what I mean, you got to be up in, I mean, the normal case for past events when it comes to championship standards was a cat would have, what, 20, 30 fights before he was able to get the politics behind being able to get a championship fight, right? So I say that and I'm going to make a point, right? Jose Valenzuela is 25 years of age. He's 5'8" with a 70-inch arm. He's a right-hander, right? He has 14 wins, 9 by knockout. You see my point? 14 wins, 9 by knockout, 3 losses. He's been stopped once, no draws, right? And prior to him being overcame by Gary Antuanne Russell, he was the WBA junior middleweight champion of the world. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that a new day is arising in regards to how long it takes to become a champion. If you have the skills, that's what it's boiled down to now, and that's what it should always be boiled down to, whether one has the skill to get in the ring with a champion, right, and take his belt. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be the length of time that you've been boxing. I think in the past that it's easy to say that was a trend, if you will, in the sport of boxing, right? That you have to have a certain amount of fights before you were eligible to get a championship debut, right? So I'm not. There's nothing in the record that indicates that is factual, but that is my perception as as a result of being associated with the sport for all these years, right? This is a new day, right? So, and I can also use another example, and that would be what is that? What is that cat's name? He took the belt from. Where did he get the belt from? Uh, I should not be. It's a new era. Shout out to J Man. What is that little man's name? He is the WBO lightweight champion of the world. Wow, that escapes me. But anyway, the person that I'm speaking of he got like what 15 fights. How can I forget that little noise? Hold up, I gotta get one sec, y'all. One sec. Okay, let me go to who. One sec. We'll do it the easy way. Who is the WBA? I ain't getting no. Who? Who? I ain't getting. Hold up, y'all. Y'all gotta give me a minute, a second. Give me a second here. And this is no, it's not the WBA. It might be the WB. Keyshawn Davis, people. Keyshawn Davis is who I was looking for. Okay, Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis is Let me see. The WBO lightweight champion of the world, right? And it's my oh no, Keyshawn Davis had 13 fights, right? So the point I'm trying to make when I was trying to relate to Keyshawn Davis is that all these new champions, right, that's coming up, they don't have 20 and 30 fights. They got like 14 and Keyshawn Davis 13 wins up under his belt. Um, Gary Antuanne Russell 18 fights. You know what I mean? It's just a new day when it comes to a person being good enough to get in the ring and challenge a person for their belt. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing, in my opinion, right? Because it tells me that a new day is dawning for boxing, right? That boxing is elevating to a different stage. You feel me? So, in that sense, it's a good thing. And I just want to be one of the fewer ones that are doing these podcasts for boxing, right? To make mentions of Antuanne Russell and Jose Valenzuela in that fight that they had, because it was a humdinger. It was. You know what I mean? Gary Antuanne Russell in that particular fight didn't stand a chance as far as the world was concerned. I mean, Jose Valenzuela was going to walk straight through him, and that didn't happen, right? Gary Antoine Russell won, in my opinion, every round. Every round. I mean, it was just it was a brilliant, masterful display of boxing. You know what I mean? And the thing about that is, we don't see that every day. We don't see that every day. We don't see boxers come on, and there it is. Thanks, J Man. J Man said, Keyshawn. Yeah, thanks. Shout out to J Man. And it's a wonderful day for boxing as far as I'm concerned, man. You know what I'm saying? I am really one that can appreciate being in a position, right, at my age to be able to view some of the awesome things that's going on in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Turkey Al-Sheikh. Now, there's a lot of cats out there that's saying Turkey Al-Sheikh is bad for the sport, right? I mean, he making everybody fight each other, and that's like, what the heck is y'all talking about? That's what boxing is about. To be competitive enough to get in the gym, work your butt off, right? I mean, get to the point where you are comfortable enough in doing what you do to ask for a title shot. You know what I'm saying? After you went through all the rigors, right, of having all these events, all these fights, right, and you've gotten good enough where you say, man, I can whoop that dude, right? You know what I mean? And it doesn't make any difference whether you had 25 or 30 fights or 5 fights, right? If you are dominant enough, right, when you get in the gym and you get in the ring and you walk down your opponent and do as you will with your opponent. I mean, it's time for you to take a shot at a title. You know what I mean? I got a youngster, right? I mean, this cat eats and sleeps boxing. I'm serious, right? I conveyed a thought in that guy's mind, man. And all he talks about, all he wants to do is be a world champion. And I made mention to y'all about this cat before, right? His name is Ben Skypes. You know what I mean? And right now he's about maybe 203 in that area, right? But I got to get him down to 175. That division is a hellacious division, right? And you got to be good to get there with them cats, man. Jose Bella, uh, um, David Benavidez is, I'm quite sure he'd get back down to 176, but David Benavidez is going up in weight, right? Up in weight. He's talking about cruiserweight. He's at 175. Yeah, he's 175 at the moment, right? But he's talking about going up. But I'm talking about like the caves of plants. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 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 the Charlo, right? Those cats sit right on that edge of super middleweight, um, light heavy, right? You know what I mean? And I want to get this dude down where he can be either 178, 175, right? And teach him a strategy. I ain't talking about my strategy over this internet, because if I can get this cat to work my strategy, oh man, oh my God! I keep telling y'all, even you cats out there that got, I mean, just that's something. You know what I mean? I have to make mention of this again, right? I'm a connoisseur of uh, accuracy. You know what I mean? I'm a connoisseur of a person that, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you do, you gotta be the best at what you do. You know what I mean? In the gym, you got to work like no other person that's working in the gym. Period. You gotta be. Every time you come to the gym, they got wow, it's got to be eyes on you. You know what I mean? And that's saying not because you want the attention, because people are paying attention to how you elevate in the sport of boxing, right? How you graduate from being unseen to being seen, right? Not for the sole purpose of being seen, but to demonstrate that you being seen because you get better. You know what I mean? And the last time I was in the gym with this cat, which was Saturday, I went down to Dallas, right? And I taught him the 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 the, the reason why when you throw a punch, not just a jab, you reach, right? You reach up. You don't reach level. You don't reach down. You reach up, right? You train your punches to go up. You know what I mean? And you turn when I don't care what you're throwing, you turn that wrist. Every time you throw something, you turn it, right? You turn it and you snap it. Woo! And I taught him, I took a old metal. This is game for you trainers that really don't know nothing about boxing, right? I taught him the art of taking an imprint. When you throw a punch, take an imprint, right? When you throw a nice punch, it's gonna be an imprint in the bag, right? Once you and again, the punches have to be up, right? Once you get that imprint, you follow that imprint. You know what I mean? You don't that imprint. This is a game, and it's free, right? And use that imprint to slow your momentum down because you're not going to be able to throw a punch until you're in the right position that is lined up with the imprint, right? I taught him that. I'm talking about, and that day, everybody in the gym started coming into him and telling him, man, you hitting that bag hella hard. What you do? How you? I told him, you know what I mean? And it's like his whole disposition. I'm talking about. I woke up this morning. He's texting me about his regimen. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? At 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? He up. You know what I'm saying? Doing some calisthenics or whatever. I don't treadmill. I'm just talking about in order to be the greatest. In order to be undisputed, right? And I commend. I'll say this again to y'all. I commend Devin the Dream Haney for his work ethics. And I just don't know how to get in a position where I can tell Devin. Devin needs to get back to being hungry. You know, I don't know if he's still hungry. I know he's good, but I don't know if Devin is still hungry, right? When Devin was hungry, Devin worked out 3 times a day. You know what I mean? He wanted to be undisputed that bad, where he would be in a conversation and talk to somebody, and he would just say, "What's happening? Oh man, I gotta go back. I gotta work out." Right? I'm talking about it is that zeal, right, that creates undisputed champions. You know what I mean? And this is the same attitude that this kid that I'm working with has to have in order for me to continue to have the motivation, right, to push him. I'm gonna push this kid to be the champion of the world. He is gonna be a belt holder. Before I leave this planet, being Skyped, remember the word, it's gonna be a world class boxer. Boxer, not fighter. We ain't taking no punches. We talking about boxing. Hit, not get hit. That's my philosophy. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, y'all, I think I done brought this to amicable conclusion, right? Be the best you can be if you're gonna put your gloves on, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's give a little respect and a little shout out to Gary Antuanne Russell and Jose Valenzuela for, in my opinion, one of the best fights of that evening. That being said, hit that subscription button, man. Hit the like button. Don't cost you a dime. Drop a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think about the fight between Gary Antuanne Russell and Jose Rayo Valenzuela. And share the video with your friends and relatives. It ain't gonna cost you a dime to do that. That being said, I'm gone, y'all.